Hector Zelaya walks cautiously in an abandoned ophthalmology clinic in Honduras at the slow pace of someone who is still learning to see again. The stout, middle-aged man was due to have cataract surgery in April at the clinic in Catacamas, which sits on the lowest slopes of a bushy hill some 4 hours east of Tegucigalpa, the country's capital. Lebanon's landscape is layered with thousands of years of history, but many of its most treasured archaeological and cultural sites now lie in the path of Israel's expanding military offensive. Despite a so-called ceasefire, on Saturday, Israeli forces captured Beaufort Corksal, a 900-year-old fortress located on a rocky hilltop near the city of Nabatea, one of the largest cities in southern Lebanon.
Previous World Cup appearances, 6th best performance. 4th place 2022, first appearance 1970, Mexico. Top goal scorer, Youssef En-Nesyri 3. Most appearances, Achraf Hakimi, Hakim Ziyech, 10 player to watch. Brahim Diaz FIFA World Ranking 8. The FIFA World Cup begins on June 11. You can follow the action on Al Jazeera's dedicated World Cup 2026 page with all the latest news, match build-up and live text commentary, and keep up to date with group standings, real-time match results and schedules.
The Pakistan Meteorological Department, PMD, has ruled out any possibility of rainfall in Karachi, forecasting hot and humid weather conditions for the city today, even as severe weather continues to affect several other parts of the country. The Met Office said the city will remain under a hot weather spell with no chance of rain. It added that southwesterly winds are blowing at around 16 kilometers per hour, with gusts reaching up to 33 kilometers per hour, contributing to uncomfortable conditions.
Pakistan's IT exports are growing rapidly, but the country remains largely absent from the lucrative global artificial intelligence consulting industry, according to private sector AI consulting firm Densight Labs. Gulf countries spend more than $12 billion annually on AI consulting and implementation services, yet Pakistan captures less than 1% of that market.
The Punjab government has approved a proposal to provide 50,000 electric bikes and 5,000 electric taxis on an interest-free basis in the upcoming provincial budget, aiming to support students and unemployed youth while promoting environmentally friendly transportation. The proposal has been cleared for inclusion in the next fiscal year's budget and is designed to improve access to affordable transport while creating new employment opportunities across the province.
Asus has unveiled the ROG Harp 2 Extreme Edition 20, a special edition gaming mouse created the 20th anniversary of its Republic of Gamers brand. The mouse was introduced at Computex Taipei 2026 as part of the wider ROG Edition 20 lineup. The ROG Harp 2 Extreme Edition 20 uses a semi-transparent black shell with authentic 24K gold-plated accents. The design exposes some of the internal structure and gives the mouse a collector-focused look.
The Islamabad District Administration has issued a fresh notification revising business operating hours in the capital under ongoing austerity and energy conservation measures, with the new timings taking effect from June 3, 2026. According to the notification issued by the Office of the District Magistrate, shops, markets, shopping malls, bazaars and departmental, grocery, general and Kirana stores will now close at 9 p.m. on all days of the week, including Saturday and Sunday.
Lahore, a Lahore High Court LHC division bench on Wednesday dismissed appeals filed by the two men convicted in the 2020 Sialkot-Lahore motorway gang rape case against their sentences. An anti-terrorism court had handed down death sentences besides life imprisonment and multiple jail terms to the two convicts, Abid Ali alias Malhi and Shafkat Ali alias Baga, on March 20, 2021. They challenged their convictions on March 25, 2021.
Pakistan cricket's most iconic fan has hung up his cap and set down his flag for the last time. Chacha Cricket, whose unwavering support for Pakistan's cricket team, in spite of their incredibly poor performance, made him a symbol of hope. The cricket fans everywhere retired from cheering for the team in a ceremony on Tuesday.
At least 21 people have been killed and several others injured after a fire tore through a multi-story building in India's capital, Delhi. Police say many of the victims were foreign nationals from South Asian countries who had travelled to India for medical treatment or to accompany relatives undergoing care, local media reported.
8 years after a British Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary made back-to-back visits to China, the Keir Starmer government is once again trying to reset relations with Beijing after a long period of what Starmer had in January described as an ice age in relations. Prime Minister Starmer went to Beijing in January, and Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper is currently visiting on a 3-day trip. As the United Kingdom and China try to revive economic and diplomatic ties, despite lingering differences over security, human rights and the Russian war on Ukraine. Former PM Theresa May and her Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt made similar visits to China soon after each other in 2018. At least 21 people have been killed in a fire that ripped through a hotel in New Delhi, police said, in one of the deadliest blazes in the Indian capital in years. The fire broke out on Wednesday in a building in the Malviya Nagar neighbourhood in the southern part of the city, which has a restaurant on the ground floor and a hotel above. The predominantly residential area is densely populated and popular with students and young professionals.
Voters in 6 U.S. states headed to the polls on Tuesday for a series of primary elections, which will help shape the political landscape before November's midterms. The contests included California's race to replace term-limited Governor Gavin Newsom, Iowa's open Senate and governor races, New Jersey's closely watched House battleground, and key statewide contests in New Mexico, Montana and South Dakota.
A United States artist who painted a mural on a buildings has filed a 25-meter lawsuit against FIFA and other defendants, saying they illegally painted over his work to promote the city's World Cup 2026 matches. Robert Weiland, who generally goes by only his last name, says he hand-painted the sprawling mural that covered roughly 580 cubic meters, 17,000 feet, across 2 walls of a building. Fusion startup Exima Energy on Wednesday flipped the switch on its Phoenix laser system, which the company says is the largest privately owned example in the world. Exima's approach to fusion power is modelled after the National Ignition Facility, NEF, which proved in December 2022 that a controlled fusion reaction could release more power than required to ignite it.
Kiwi star batter Kane Williamson is set to make what is expected to be his final appearance at Lord's when New Zealand face England in the opening test on Thursday. The 35-year-old will earn his 110th test cap in the match. Speaking at a press conference on Tuesday, Kane Williamson paused briefly when asked about the significance of the occasion before responding with humour.
The Punjab government has expanded its flagship Kisan Card program, issuing cards to more than 832,000 farmers across the province to strengthen agricultural financing and improve access to farming inputs. Farmers have collectively used agricultural loans worth Rs 25.4 billion through the initiative, while they purchased inputs worth over 100 billion during the wheat cultivation season.
The Punjab government has expanded its healthcare outreach beyond provincial boundaries by sending 6 Clinic Ennui Wills mobile health units to Gilgit-Baltistan as a gift, aiming to improve access to medical services in remote areas. Provincial Health Minister Khawaja Imran Nazir said 6 fully equipped mobile clinics, stocked with essential medicines, dispatched to the northern region to support primary healthcare delivery.
The Pakistan Meteorological Department has forecast further heavy rainfall and hailstorms in several parts of the country over the coming days, warning of unstable weather conditions across multiple regions. According to the department, parts of Punjab are expected to experience heavy rain and hail in some areas today.
The National Accountability Bureau, NAB, has handed over recovered assets worth more than $6 to the government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in the first phase of asset recovery, linked to one of Pakistan's largest financial fraud investigations involving the alleged misappropriation of public funds in Upper Khorasan. At a ceremony held in Pehel, formerly Devabad, Chairman Natsaker formally transferred the recovered assets to the provincial chief secretary.
Britain's competition watchdog said on Wednesday that it had ordered Google to allow website owners in the United Kingdom to opt out of having their content used by the US technology giant's AI search. The Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, called the change a world first after it had proposed the measure in January. In the crowded streets of Karachi's old city neighbourhood of Liari, football has always been more than a game. It lives in the narrow alleys, on dusty grounds and through evening street matches in which children grow up chasing a ball long before they learn to chase success. For decades, however, that dream largely belonged to boys. Now 5 young girls from Liari are rewriting that story.
Severe tropical storm Jangmi ripped across Japan on Wednesday, with fierce winds and torrential rain disrupting transport and businesses and knocking out power for tens of thousands of homes. The storm's center lay about 150 kilometers south of Tokyo as of early Wednesday afternoon, moving northeast with maximum sustained winds of up to 25 meters per second, Japan's meteorological agency said.
Clashes in the Gulf region have escalated, with diplomacy showing little progress, as by Iran, while the US military announces self-defense strikes on Iran's Qasem Island. According to Kuwait state news agency Kuna, the country's international airport was hit by drones and missiles on Wednesday morning, causing injuries, severe damage to a number of airport facilities, and thus flight suspensions and diversions.
At least 21 people have been killed and several others injured after a fire swept through a multi-story building in a crowded neighborhood of the Indian capital, New Delhi. Police said the blaze broke out on Wednesday in the Malviya Nagar area in the city's south, in a building that housed a restaurant on the ground floor and a hotel above.
The Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, PTA, has issued a fresh warning about the growing threat of phishing attacks and online fraud, highlighting the methods cybercriminals use to steal personal and financial information from unsuspecting individuals. According to the authority, fraudsters are increasingly using fake emails, messages, phone calls, and fraudulent job advertisements to target internet users across the country.
The Ignite National Technology Fund has appointed Mohammed Bilal Abbasi as its new Chief Executive Officer for a 3-year term, ending a prolonged period during which the CEO post at Ignite had been unfilled since January 17, 2024, when the tenure of the previous CEO ended. Following the vacancy, General Manager Corporate Affairs Adil Ijaz Sheikh was assigned additional responsibilities as acting CEO.
Capital Development Authority, CDA, has approved 2 joint ventures for the next stage of the bidding process for Islamabad's proposed convention, expo and exhibition centre. The project is planned for Malpur near the Barakahu bypass and is among the CDA's major infrastructure initiatives. According to sources, a joint venture comprising China Construction, Third Engineering Bureau, Kasi Builders and Developers Private Limited and Xerox International, and another consisting of China Railway 6th Group, Usmani International Associates and Osmani and Company were declared technically responsive following the evaluation process.
ASUS has announced the 2026 TUF Gaming 16, a new 16-inch gaming laptop with updated Intel and NVIDIA hardware. The 2026 ASUS TUF Gaming 16 can be configured with up to an Intel Core i7 Fawn 650 HX processor. The chip has 8 performance cores, 8 efficiency cores, and a maximum boost clock of 5.2 GHz.